Greetings, welcome, and as always do excuse my bad English, but I really wanted to talk about two things, Ivara and glaive weapons, because lately I've been seeing a lot of videos about Ivara and glaive weapons, and they are showing builds and guides, and I don't mean to offend anyone, but it appears they have no idea what they're talking about, and their builds only work because they have like every focus, every arcana in existence on max level and stuff like that, the best mods and the most expensive ones. And I'm like, yeah, well, with that kind of stuff backing me up, I would probably not consider any build at all, like pushing it through mods. It will do, yeah. I'm gonna show you cheap builds and the things that really matter. It's hard to explain, so let me just show you what I mean. When it comes to Ivara, a lot of those people use the augment mod for Navigator, your second ability. That gives you a bonus crit chance, which you don't need at all. You don't need it. It's bullshit. This mod, however, grants you 100% critical damage that somewhat scales with your ability power, and with somewhat I mean it's roundabout the same critical damage as your ability strength. If I go into a mission and I shoot that arrow which creates a wire, I stand on the wire, I get roughly 238% bonus damage. So it doesn't really matter what kind of person you are, you can camp on one spot, in which case I would recommend this build because the damage is way higher that you get. But if you are not a camper that just chooses one spot and stays there, if you are like a person who roams through a big room or even roams through the whole map, you can use this build because whenever you enter a room you can just shoot the wire, walk on it, clear the whole room, or you can place 4 really good positioned wires and walk around in one room and clear everything. I gotta say, this build is completely unnecessary though. And I mean what I'm just saying. I mean it. You don't need any mod at all. You can just delete every mod except for Steel Charge and go into the mission. It's enough. But this is just to show how you play Ivara. I'm gonna explain that later. As you can see, the mods are rather cheap, and the only expensive or more expensive ones would be the ones like this, or the endo that you would spend on mods like this. But in general you can go with much cheaper mods. The key is to get a little bit of strength and a lot of efficiency. That are the only things that really matter for this build. Everything else is just a bonus. You can do with much less, and you get still sufficient product at the end. I don't know how to call. Doesn't matter. So the thing is, with this alone, you get a high crit damage boost, an insane crit damage boost. And I've seen a lot of player using Ivara and putting God knows what abilities through Helmuth while you have Empower, which boosts your next attack by 50%. You use Empower and this, and you get around, as you can see, 238% bonus damage, and plus 50% is roughly 350%. So you shoot a wire, and that wire constantly will give you 350% bonus critical damage. And as you can see in the video of the wire, it covers a large area. You can just walk through the whole room invisible. And the best thing about that is, if you use Empower before you jump on the wire, your next usage of Navigator will get buffed by Empower as well. As you can see, damage multiplier is roughly 12, plus 50% would be roughly 18 times the damage. And if you are a camper like me, because this build has low efficiency, you can't stay invisible forever, so you would be camping on one spot, it gives you 337% bonus critical damage, plus 50% would be 480% critical damage. The numbers are insane. Alright, insane. That's what you play Ivara on if you wanna max out the damage. I mean, look at him walking through the room in that video, right? He could just jump off the ledge, and even if you want to use the Korra ability, right? You just stand somewhere where your wire is connected, Korra ability, jump on the wire, navigator, shot, kill. You don't need combo counter and stuff like combo efficiency and all that bullshit. It's completely unnecessary. It's a cheap Ivara is a cheap and most efficient Warframe. The only thing you need to watch out for when you play Ivara and you don't have a lot of health with you like I do are when they shoot at your pets or shoot at anything else and you're in the way, or if they spawn poison. That are the only things you need to take care of, right? I mean, it's... And here's the thing, right? Many people play Ivara and they're like, oh yeah, navigator and weird abilities, and I'm like, and most expensive builds. I mean, alright, I could use primed flow, right? But I don't need it. I never needed it. Never. Or, yeah, stuff like prime continuity, right? For many Warframes it's good, but you don't need mods like that. And there we are going to the main point. The glaive weapons, right? Glaive weapons are strong and they even got buffed. I'm gonna explain that, right? So here is my build. With this build, I do magnetic damage and I can go into a survival mission for Corpus and stay for 1 hour straight and kill everything one shot, except for the assassins sometimes, but in general I kill everything one shot with this build. It's cheap. There's not a single prime mod. I could go prime pressure point and what was the other thing I wanted to do? I forgot. Ah, yes, here, the primed version of Fewer Strike, Prime Fewer Strike. Because normally I would take this, giving me corrosive damage, good against Granier and Infested, sorry. But if you're up against Corpus, you can just switch Fewer Strike against Northwind, granting you magnetic damage. Because the Xorus has electric damage. I'm going to show it with the Xorus because the Xorus is a weapon you can easily obtain just by doing the quests, right? So it's an easy obtainable weapon with a rather cheap build to do, right? None of these mods are impossible to get. And here's the point. Whenever you watch a video of a person showing you a guide or a build for the glaive, 90% of them don't even know that this mod exists. It gives you 300% damage. You throw, and on the third throw after your first, so your third consecutive throw, it is 300% extra damage. You can even store the third throw when you want to do other things, like when you start throwing and then you roll. You interrupt your throw and the bonus stays. I mean, you can get the bonus up extremely quick, just throw it 3 times and it's there, but you get what I mean. This mod gives you 300% damage, just like that. And most people don't even use it. And I'm like, now, the reason why the glaive weapons got buffed is this one. So many people know about the gladiator passive. Critical chance per combo multiplier, it's great, right? It's good. But most of the times I don't have it that much. Because whenever I go, when I want to have a gladiator fully stacked, I go with a more tanky Warframe that has a few gladiator mods, and I go with a companion that has a few gladiator mods, giving me the fully stacked passive 60% crit chance per combo multiplicator. The problem is, until recently, before Sisters of Parvos, I never used this passive with the glaive, because when you throw the glaive consecutively, I guess that's how it's called, then the moment you have the glaive in your hand and charge your throw, until the point where you let go of the glaive, it's not enough time to charge corrupt charge. So you throw the glaive, let it explode, the combo counter hits 0, but it wasn't up, not high enough for this mod. Now they lowered the attack speed. What you always do is this, right? You have this mod. Whenever you put a glaive build, you have this mod. Alright? But if I'm not there. Normally, back in the days, I had a few builds with Killing Blow and Spoiled Strike. That would give me a nice attack speed. Sometimes I would have Amalgam Organ Shatter, because with double times 60% wind up speed and without the negative effect of this one, you get an insane fast throw speed. Now, with both of them, my attack speed is as fast as it was back then. So if you are saying now the new attack speed is way too slow for you, with this mod and this mod, you get roughly the same as before. The normal as before. Okay? But if you use only this mod, the attack speed fits perfect to charge corrupt charge. You throw your glaive and really it starts from 0, like heavy explosion, calling it back, charging, throwing, and it is 30 initial combo counter. It's perfect. It is so perfect. It's beautiful. You can get the bonus of corrupt charge on every single throw. That is amazing. And yeah, with this build, just this build, you, like I said, can go into a corpus mission and stay for 1 hour, kill everything. I mean, with cold damage on this mod, right? I already forgot how it's called, but you get what I mean. Right. Northwind, right. And why isn't it showing me the leveled version? I'm confused. It doesn't matter. Anyway, no, I am confused. What is so great about glaives? There it goes. If you only need this build to one-shot everything, you don't need Ivara at all. I only talked about Ivara because they were using her wrong. Right? Every Warframe, and I mean every Warframe. If you want to do, for example, the Korra thing, you chain them all together, one-shot them. You can do it with Navigator, right? So, bam. But if you one-shot everything with the Xorus without Navigator, and you do, my friend, you don't need Navigator, which means you can put the Korra ability on any Warframe you like. It doesn't matter at all. At all. It does not matter. And that gives us a huge possibility. Let me show you something. Here's the point why the glaive is my favorite weapon. I was talking about the cheap part of this build, right? I mean, it's cheap. Now look at this. It's perfect. And do you know why? This. 20% lifesteal on heavy attacks. You deal up to 1,000,000 damage to a mob. Sometimes more, sometimes less, but you know what I mean. You pick a tanky Warframe with a lot of HP and you are never dying. You just heal yourself up. Preferably something like Inaros with really a lot of health, but everything else does as well. You just pick a Warframe with a lot of HP, level a lot of HP, and pick this mod. Now, why am I not using this configuration for Ivara? The reason is Ivara itself could buff herself, right? Because Corrupt Charge isn't here, Oh, it is. What else did I? Fever Strike. No, I meant to swap out Corrupt Charge. I like the bonus of the Corrosive. That was my bad. So the build looks like this and like this. There you go. I could use this build with Ivara as well. Just go invisible, shoot the wire, jump on the wire, and kill stuff. But yes, with this build, without primed Fever Strike and without primed Pressure Point, you need a little buff. But here's the point. This little buff can be everything. Rhino's ability, Mirage ability, Ivara ability, every ability that grants you a little bit of damage is enough to get into the steel path with this build and kill stuff. You only level armor and health. Health is really important, and shields before armor. So health, shield, armor, and this build, and you're good to go. You're good to go. The only thing you then need is either the more expensive version of this build or a buff ability, and that's all you need. Now, I can talk a lot, right? I mean, I could tell you a lot of bullshit, but I have a little video prepared here. That is me, and that is my Ivara build, showing it right now. Alright, and then I will show you the Xorus build as well. And here, give it a second. There, that's the Xorus build I will be using. And as you can see down here, this video is 1 hour. To be honest, showing you this video is really... It pains me to show you this, because at the end of this video I will be dying, wasting 1 hour of farmed resources from Steel Path, which is quite annoying. I did test out a lot of things in this run, and I died. And when I hit 1 hour I was like, one last assassin and then I will go, but I managed to die. One small mistake. Well, sad. Now anyway, wait, give me a second. I'm gonna put my actual cam away. This is the cam I used to record. Here you see the line, right? And as you can see in the right, in the left part of the screen, there goes the time. It goes up and up at the same part percent as the play bar, and then I go and go and go and go, and I stay and I stay and I stay and I stay. And what I want to show you is around here, let's say. Oh god, I hate these shields, really. I don't know what yeah, well, okay, so let's get to the part. As you can see, the damage you deal with this build is really sufficient. Bam, bam, and I mean, I don't group them, but why would I? Of course, I have to admit, with this Warframe and this weapon, Corpus are my least favorite enemies, right? I mean, why is it lagging? I mean, Corpus, come on, those shields are so annoying. But yes, even with those shields, and I have to say, magnetism against Corpus is, in my opinion, not as good as corrosive against Graniers or Infested. This is easy, right? I mean, look at it. Look at the damage. Right? This is, I mean, I think it's great damage. Just like that. Down, 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 down. Everything dies. I am rather satisfied with that. And so should you. Wait a second. There we go. There we go. No, that was wrong. There we go. Now, the thing is simple, right? So let's say you have Rhino. That's it. That's enough. Just put a lot of health on your Rhino. Steel Path. Glaive. Easy build. Cheap. Life Strike. You heal yourself. No problem. You never die. You only need to tank a few hits, and as long as you're able to do that, easy. Now, if you want to use a Warframe with a buff ability and Life Strike, I recommend you to go on ability efficiency and specifically duration. And if the ability itself needs it, you should go a little bit on ability power as well. But the main factor is duration. Because if you use your buff, you want to have it for a long time, as long as possible. And then you go around that one-shot stuff. Really, it is that simple. So, whenever you see a build in the future that is about a glaive without using this mod, it's bullshit. And whenever you see a guy talking about how great his Ivara build is and he's not using this, but the navigator thing, it works. Don't get me wrong. Like I've just shown you, if you know how to build your glaive correctly, you could go without any augment, right? You just one-shot stuff. You don't need that augment. But if he is bragging about his damage and has that augment, then he's an idiot. Just like that. Because I'm telling you, 480% crit damage increase with a glaive? Hopla. That's something else. Well, the video was longer than intended, but I really needed to say that. So have a nice day, and I'm gonna farm 2 hours at least to regain that resources that I lost. Wish me fun.